Okay, so you might have heard that Donald Trump was at the UN this morning, and he, first off, had an insane speech that I'm not going to focus on because it's just lies. It's just lies. What I'm going to focus on is the thing that they don't want us to focus on, was the fact that two mishaps happened at once. And it clearly bothered the shit out of Donald Trump, because now his press secretary and right-wing officials and MAGA folks are trying to gin up some sort of conspiracy theory about why this all happened. But what happened, if you don't know, is that when Donald Trump was entering the UN, the escalator stopped working. But before we get to that, if you could quickly please hit like in this video and subscribe. We are trying to hit 900,000 subscribers, and we're so close to hitting that goal. All right, now let's get to this.
You're going to push Zelensky for peace, President Trump.
And oop. I could watch this all day. Okay, now we know that bothered him because he then, during his speech, mentioned it. And before that, though, the teleprompter stopped working.
Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Ha 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 ha. Now, this is an aside, but is this man just getting more and more orange? Like, this is certainly a new color, right? Is this not a new color of orange that we've not been exposed to before? And does he dye his hair? Does he bleach it? I've never actually thought about it before, but in this lighting with the gold, or with the very, very bronze skin, to me, it looks like, I mean, he looks like he's straight out of the 80s, if we're being honest. Okay, now, this clearly bothered the shit out of Donald Trump because he mentioned it in his speech. And he tries to be jokey, but this is how he shows that he is pissed off.
All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the two things I got from the United Nations: a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much. All I got.
Right. And so, clearly, as I said, he's upset. Now, keep in mind with what he said there, where he said, these are two things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator. Remember, he said, though, that if not for the fact that she were in shape, she would have gotten hurt. That's important to keep in mind, because Caroline Leavitt said this. First off, there was a report, I guess, from some random internet website. The Times, what the hell is this? But they're quoting it. The Times. To mark Trump's arrival, UN staff members have joked that they may turn off the escalators and elevators and simply tell them they ran out of money, so he has to walk up the stairs, LOL. Clearly a joke. Caroline Leavitt wants to pretend like this is real. If someone at the UN intentionally stopped the escalator as the president and first lady were stepping on, they need to be fired and investigated immediately. The Times reported this on Sunday. Okay. Now, remember what I said. Donald Trump said that Melania, if not for being in good shape, would have gotten hurt. Well, Piers Morgan said somebody obviously did it deliberately, and could have caused injury to the president and first lady. Why would the UN let that happen? There's absolutely no evidence that anyone did this on purpose. Absolutely no evidence. Now, it could be the fact that happened, but I think it was probably if I'm being honest with you, maybe karma comes in small doses, and maybe Donald Trump was due for just a bit. Now, someone else said, this is insane. As Trump arrived in the UN, the escalator stopped working the moment he stepped on it. Then the teleprompter stopped working the moment he got up to the podium to speak. As if they did it something wrong. Now, this is a parody account here making fun of the president, but here's the president posting about this. It was a great honor to speak before the United Nations. I believe the speech was very well received. It wasn't. It focused very much on energy and migration, immigration. I have been talking about that for a very long time in this forum. Was the absolute best of the standpoint of making these two important statements. I hope everyone gets to watch it. The teleprompter was broken. The escalator came to a sudden halt. Sudden halt. As we were ridding up to the podium. That's how you know he actually wrote this. Ridding up to the podium, but both of those events probably made the speech more interesting than it would have been otherwise. He was clearly upset. Now this account says, Fat Satan broke the UN escalator, then couldn't read from the teleprompter. Incredible. And someone made this meme, escalator and teleprompter technician at the UN. Ron Filipkowski said, Antifa sabotaged the escalator. And then I want to end with this because I thought this is actually a good thing that Zelensky said that Trump seemed more positive about Ukraine's place in the war. Now, we don't know if this is going to last, but here's what he had to say.
I know your staff read the post from President Trump that he posted on Truth Social after your meeting, but in part he said this: after getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, and after seeing the economic trouble it is causing Russia, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. With time, patience, and the financial support of Europe, and in particular NATO, the original borders from where this war started is very much an option. Are you surprised to hear that?
A little bit. A little bit. I mean, this, I'm sure in my people, in my army, and I'm sure in strengthening of the in support of the United States. But President Trump was more positive in it, and he showed that he wants to support Ukraine to the very end. So we understand now that we are ready to finish this war as quick as possible. And he wants, and I want, and our people want. But he understands that Putin doesn't want, and he understands that he is not winning, but he says to everybody that he will win. And I see very, it was a little bit surprise for me, you're right, I was very positive signals.
So it is a positive signal. It's better than the alternative. But remember, when he was with Putin, he was spewing Putin talking points. I actually think Donald Trump is not very smart. He's not a smart individual. He might be cunning. He's not very intelligent. He's pretty ignorant. And I really do think he just believes whatever the last person who talked to him said. And that's what he's doing here. He's making some good points. And you're right, Putin, blah, 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 blah. So then he just says the thing that Zelensky wants to hear. But we don't actually know what he wants. But I'd much rather him saying this than the alternative. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.